we were able to assemble a great village of people, great group of leaders and a wonderful staff, made sure we had the right people to bring the company sort of nationwide. So I think the brand has brought the great agents to us. If you're new in the business, you really should join a team. Well, Matterport and DHT are super important to us. Public relations is probably one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. Partnership with Knight Frank, which handles all of our business outside of the United States.
Mm-hmm. I'm Lucy Edwards, Director of Strategic Engagement at Matterport and VHT Studios. And today I am at Douglas Elliman, 575 Madison office, and I am here with CEO and the president of that amazing company, Scott Durkin. How are you, Scott?
I'm great, Lucy. How are you?
Very, very, very good. So let's start with your story. What a successful story. You've been in real estate industry for over 30 years. And you joined in January 2016, you joined Douglas Elliman, which is a globally known and respected brokerage. And you put Douglas Elliman on a map with a totally different speed. And actually, the quality of your agents is amazing. How did you do that?
Oh, well, I wish I could take credit for all of it, but I was very lucky that when I got here, that was the plan, and that was one of the reasons I was hired. So we were able to assemble a great village of people, great group of leaders and a wonderful staff. So for us, it was, I brought in people that I had worked with before at the Corcoran Group, mm-hmm. and several I had worked with outside of real estate. And so we just made sure we had the right people to bring the company sort of nationwide and get the brand across the country. So
you are in 11 states right now, and you are always looking how to expand. You are a publicly traded company.
Right.
And the quality of your agents is on a totally different level. They are respected by the community and by even the competitors, right?
Right, yeah. Well, I think Douglas Elliman is a brand that's been around since 1911. I believe that it reminds me of an auction house like a Sotheby's or a Christie's, mm-hmm. but in real estate. So I think the brand has brought the great agents to us, and there's something to be said to wear that jacket or carry that flag that makes you feel super special. And I think Douglas Elliman is probably, for me, the best brand that I've ever worked with.
And would you say New York State is your largest market?
I think right now we're probably neck and neck with Florida. Yeah, we saw a lot of our clients in all of our regions buy a second or third home in Florida during COVID and shortly thereafter the pandemic. And Florida is now a very, very strong market for us, and especially for new development, new homes. We have, I think, a portfolio of $40 billion right now that we're carrying for Florida alone.
Wow. You have great leadership there. Yeah,
Jay
Parker. Yeah, he is amazing. Great. Right. And he really cares. I've known Jay for quite some time, and he really takes pride in everything he does. Every agent knows him. He knows every agent.
Yeah.
So that's part of the success, I think, the leadership.
Well, I think we're all similar to that because we've all been real estate agents. It's important to have been boots on the ground before our management and leadership positions, because if you don't know what an agent goes through every day, you're not going to be able to manage the process and grow the business. So we've all sold at one time or another, and I think we all have that in common, which is important.
It is important to understand the other side. Who are you supporting? So yes, so the fact that, and Jay as well. Would you say about, like when we talk about your brand, would you say the brand really helps your agents when they go on listing presentations or they represent themselves at some events and they say that they are from Douglas Elliman? So you brought the name to a national level. So is it easier for them?
I think it helps them, and it almost, I often say it's great to have a seat at the table and not be on the menu. I think it gives us a seat at every table, and we probably go up against our competitor at almost every listing. And so the brand's super important. We have an iconic look to our brand. We have a monogram that is the DE in blue, and it's really super special. And when people see it, they know that it's Douglas Elliman. So I think the brand definitely helps you. If you go out there solo these days on your own, it's very hard to compete.
Would you say your support to your agents and the brand helps the final consumer?
Oh, I think so, because when the consumer has the ultimate, the final contact with the Elliman agent, whether it would be for a listing or they're representing a buyer, that Elliman agent is really educated, trained, has a certain level of sophistication, can articulate the market, can help you negotiate, can help you finance, can help you sell. They have a real sort of locker full of specialties and a certain way that we do business. And it's all about the client. And the client for me would be our agents. The client for the agents would be their customers or their clients. So there are many levels to it, and you have to make sure that you can reach all of those levels. I'm not on the street meeting the clients, but my clients are the agents. So if I have them poised and current and involved in the company and the brand, it's all a partnership. It translates into better customer service.
And you're also very much involved in educating other agents. You participated just a week ago or so in Risk Media. You are at Inman. You just went to Blueprint. So you represent the industry, you educate, and you actually fight for your agents to make sure that whoever is involved and make decisions how the industry will grow, you are part of that growth. Can we talk about that? Like when you went to Risk Media, what did you talk about?
There were three of us, and we talked about staying current in the market. Like what's the new playbook? And it was something that I really wanted to be part of, because the playbook has changed, and it's no longer the phone isn't ringing anymore. We don't even have phones. We've removed all of our phones from the desks. There's no need for them. Everyone texts now to your cell phone. But simple things like that. Also, it's important to get out there to see what's going on and to be part of it, because it's a wonderful opportunity to recruit. And you can see other agents from other firms, and they can see that the firm leadership from my company is always out there doing something, whether it's myself or Jay or Stephen Kotler or Todd Borgard. We're all out there doing something for the industry that helps at the end of the day get either more agents from other firms or more business, or both.
And Peter Hernandez, he's constantly on social media. He has amazing videos.
Aren't Peter's videos amazing? He's so cool, right? Yeah, he's an expert.
Well, he's in California. He has to be cool.
He surfs. He surfs every day.
Really?
At Malibu Beach.
Well, he looks like he's in really good shape. Yeah. That's for sure.
Yeah, Peter's great. He has a wonderful history and brain trust on the business. And I've known Peter 35 years.
Oh.
Yes.
So even before.
He's a legend.
Yeah. Would you say education is a big part of Douglas Elliman Agent? You have webinars, you have trainings, you partner with us, for example, as VHT, who also help with training and webinars. You have a special department who does that?
Yes, Jeff Stanton. He's in charge of all of our education. And everything we teach in person, we now teach online. So every module of the whole syllabus has been filmed, and it's all digital. And we did that during COVID. We knew we had to get ready for when we weren't in COVID, because people were not coming back to the office once it was over. So we were ahead of the game there, and we started digitizing and videoing and putting it all online.
You were one of the very first companies who actually created all the Zoom meetings. And I was back in New York in 2021, so I was conducting webinars as well. There was not one single company that had so many agents on Zoom as yours. I actually had to hire someone to help me to navigate 300 agents on Zoom. So that was very impressive.
Thank you. Well, Jeff's department ran that. And yes, we had lots of Zooms. I think Howard and I hosted a Zoom every month or every 2 weeks for a long time. And then all of our operations management, the senior leadership all over the country, we had Zooms once, sometimes 3 times a week, just to keep up on what was happening out there and to have our agents have all the tools and information about how to operate during the pandemic.
Right. Yeah. And that's exactly, I was so impressed that everyone was interested and they were trying to find new ways how to advertise properties. New York was on a lockdown. So that was, it was so difficult for them, but they were fighting. Yeah. And they survived. they not just survived, they flourished.
Well, I think what first happened was we weren't able to show anything. So the actual, the showing of a property, it ceased. The closings were not happening, the appraisals, the inspections. And so we had to relearn everything. And thankfully, the silver lining of the entire pandemic was the fact that we were able to put all of this online and it had be digital, and we never had to we didn't miss a beat because we had a little time because everyone was playing catch up. And that has helped us to today, and it will always help us beyond, because most real estate companies were dealing with an abacus and a pencil and eraser until COVID happened. And then we realized, how will we run our businesses because we can't be out there in person? So I think about 98% of our closings now, we don't attend.
Right, right.
And we were attending them pre-COVID, but now we don't.
Because of technology. And I understand that you really invested a lot of efforts in technology. So as a leader, there's so many people depend on you. You know, the agents throughout the country, and they count on you and your colleagues, the leadership team, to come up with the solutions. So they don't have to struggle, they will survive, they will flourish. And you were able to do it by investing a lot in technology back then.
We did. We shaped up our intranet, which is called My Douglas. And there's this sort of Harry Potter looking Douglas guy who is the opener for the software. But we also went after, we have a division from our parent company, New Valley Ventures, and they invest in prop tech. So they were out there looking for the best software that was being built or was already off the shelf that would enhance the agent experience, build the agent's business, help run it. So we didn't build anything. We went out there and bought it, and we housed it within this My Douglas. And it could be anything from a CRM to financing to staging to agent financing for themselves. The menu there.
Yeah, that was a good program.
Yes, it's really extraordinary. And we believe that if you buy what's out there and what's on the cutting edge, you're pretty. It's so much better than building it, because by the time you build it, it's obsolete, and you spent way too much money.
Right. It is. It's time consuming and financially a different story. What about marketing? So you have an amazing marketing department, and you have marketing centers as well. Like besides the marketing at your headquarters here, there is one on Long Island. There is one in Palm Beach, Florida.
Yes. Yeah.
So how big is the marketing team?
Well, Stephanie Garbarini is our chief marketing officer, and she came to us from having a career at J. Crew and Barney's and retail fashion. High-end fashion. So that's headquartered right where we are now. Mm-hmm. However, it's important that each region has its own identity. And we always say that real estate is local, and you know, one size doesn't fit all. We have our corporate look and our what we call the lockup with the logo and our
the foundation.
The foundation, our tagline is "The next move is yours." And that it could be anything, a seller, a buyer, an agent looking to leave their company for ours. So it's super important. And then at the local level, we have a couple of marketing people in each region, and also right down to some of the offices, depending on their needs. It's important to also keep the brand locked up in many ways, but also be able to, you know, shape it a little differently. Because you may have a different market. But I'm really proud of the team that's here. We get a lot done. We also have in-house design. So you can come to the company, or if you're in the company, and you can have marketing design a logo for you, and everything from soup to nuts in terms of your business, and making yourself look like a brand within our brand, which is how we manage the teams these days.
Right. Yeah. A brand within the brand.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you support that. So
we embrace teams. But I do, if I was to blame it all on anyone, I would blame it on Tom Ferry.
Oh, yeah? Well, speaking of Tom Ferry, do you believe in coaching? Tom? Do you invite like Tom Ferry or Buffini?
Sure. Yeah. Oh, Brian Buffini and I have become great friends. His daughter is an equestrian.
Oh, that's right.
So
that is right. Yeah. She's in Olympic Games, and
yes, she's trying for the Olympics. Anna, but yeah, we welcome them in. We always many of our top agents are, I don't know what level Tom has, but they coach with Tom.
And so is Buffini.
Yeah,
Buffini I think is very popular within Douglas Elliman, because he had an event once, and I was invited by one of your agents, and it was a room just Douglas Elliman agents. It was on Long Island.
Yeah.
So yeah. That was great. Yeah, it's great because you encourage that. You encourage coaching, because it's also in a way it's support, and that is very important to support your agents in their professional, personal life, and that's what Buffini and Tom Ferry really teach you. Don't forget about your personal life. Yeah. And I enjoy your social media. You are everywhere. You travel for business, but you also travel for fun. You have amazing horses. I don't know where they live, but they look beautiful.
Well, they live in Saugerties in the summer, and then Wellington in the winter in Florida. Okay. So both of our markets. And yeah, they're sort of my own personal therapy.
Well, I bet. Yeah,
they keep me happy and centered and grounded. And you know, I often say if you can get a 1,200-pound animal to do something with very little communication, you can certainly manage 7,000 agents with a great team. So you know, I use the horse analogy a lot because. They just have to look at you and know if they can trust you. So it's a very quick study for a horse.
Did you know that horses are one of the most difficult animals to photograph?
Yes.
They do not like being photographed.
Well, we have an equestrian magazine that we put out 2 or 3 times a year. And whenever I go to look at it, look at one of the final drafts, I probably replace 5 of the photos, because I'll never have a photo with a horse's ears down. We produce an equestrian magazine 3 times a year. And oftentimes when I see the final draft of it, I will delete or replace 3 to 5 photographs because the horses are not photographed correctly. And you're right. there's an art to that, and you always should have their ears up and at attention, because if you don't, they look like donkeys.
Oh.
You know, and they're just not pretty. So I think I've gotten my point across that we need to have all ears. So if you were to pick up a copy now, you'll see that all the ears are standing tall.
Yeah, very perky, just like your
Perky.
agents.
And you just need to throw some dust in the air, or use a little whip, or do something to make them go. You know, the best thing to do is to shake a bag of sugar.
Oh.
Sugar cubes, and they're immediately at attention.
Well, that's great. So that is important. That is also your personal life that you enjoy. That is your therapy, like you said, and I'm sure you can learn so much from the beautiful animal.
Well, and I'm lucky that when I arrived at Douglas Elliman, we've been supporting the Hampton Classic for 27 years.
I know. I've been to
right?
several.
And we've been. I think now we're in our 10th year at the Winter Equestrian Festival in Wellington. And so I just walked into that, and luckily I'm into all of that, and I can help grow it and help entertain and help recruit, because a lot of people, we get a lot of recruits from that,
really?
That arena.
Yeah. And you have so much in common with your recruit.
Totally. I can talk the talk. I don't even talk about real estate.
It's all about horses today.
Yeah, exactly.
What would you wish to a brand new agent who is entering real estate industry, real estate landscape in today's market that isn't that easy? It's a bit confusing. What would you wish to them? Well, besides the fact that they should join Douglas Elliman.
Right.
But you don't want everybody. You want only the best. So.
Well, I think today's agent, and in many ways, I think over 50% of our agents joining today, this is their first major career.
Oh.
When I started, it was the flip side. It was mainly moms whose children had gone off to college and they needed something to do, and so they became real estate agents. Now this is a full-fledged career, and I think that's been helped by all of the television programs that have portrayed real estate agents in a positive way. And some of them are not so good at it, but we've been very fortunate to have our agents in the best of the best. And I think that has helped secure the industry and the choice of being a real estate agent. But coming into the business, yeah, it's really it's for the first time you have to have a something that gets you out there 24/7. You know, you can't. And then our most successful agents are not home, rarely ever. You know,
they're in the field and meetings and
they're
networking.
Traveling, they're networking. We call it spinning plates. They have many spinning plates that are revenue drivers for their business, and you can't let any of those drop or they'll just crack. You know, and you have to be fearless in this kind of market. And it's interesting when you take, for instance, a millennial or a Gen Z. You've got some that had helicopter parents, so they don't even know how to open a door, right? Or make a sandwich. And then you've got some that could care less about it. You know, the youngest ones now are like, you know, where's the spotlight? You know? They have this different attitude and different work ethic. But I think it works in this industry because people like to do business with people that they like.
Right.
It's very basic. You know, you didn't win it because you ran 4 miles and was in first place. They have to like you. They have to have interest in you. And then the business part comes second. Obviously, if you're new in the business, you really should join a team.
I agree with you. The team, I think, you can learn so much from them. I also believe that it's important to understand the culture of the company that you are joining, and you have to appreciate and understand and the support, because you as a leader and your leadership team, you invested so much effort already in building the foundation, so it's easy for the new agent to come in and they just have to follow the path. and with start with a team, and then they can break loose and build their own.
Most teams here are anywhere from 6 people to 25. You know, it could be that, and that spread. So you're bound to see. It's sort of like a master class in learning real estate, and you'll learn every piece of it because everyone has a role to play within the team, and you aren't just sitting at your desk wondering what you should be doing. You know, each person has something to do, and I think that's the best way to learn it, and also to learn from the superstars that have teams. We have over 600 teams in Douglas.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So almost 10% of our force are teams, and so it's super popular, and it's the best way to be on the fast track of learning. And you should at least give it 2 years with a team before you think you're ready to go out on your own. And we have some people that have been with their teams for 10 years. It might work.
Again, if you have the right culture and the right relationship and everything fits. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you. We have a great team.
Yes, you do. Yeah.
We have a great team at VHT Studios. Yeah. So, and that it makes a difference. We learn from each other. We communicate. That is extremely important to learn from each other.
What does VHT stand for?
Video Home Tours.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was built 20 plus years ago, 22 years ago, when the company started with videos, but then start focusing more on photos. But we do offer professional photography and professional videos, absolutely.
I remember about 7 years ago, we stopped doing videos. It was funny, it was just like no one's clicking through. And then in a couple years, it's enormous as it relates to Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Exactly,
yeah.
All of the social media. It's all about that. And who would have known it would come back with such a bang?
I enjoy videos. I'm all about videos. That's why I'm here today, sitting with you, producing a video.
Okay. When do we do a song and dance too? Right?
Right. In a bit.
Well, Matterport and VHT are super important to us, and it's one of those. How would I say it? It's a constant that's always there, and we always get great results. And that's super important because when you can have a seamless menu of offerings to the agents as it relates to how they market their listings, that's super important. So we're thrilled to be a partner with you.
Let's talk about your public relations department.
Yes.
It is very important because they represent the company as well. So that they're the face of the company.
Public relations is probably one of the most important pieces of the puzzle. And I'm so fortunate to be able to work with my colleague, who's our Chief Communications Officer, Stephen Larkin, at the Corcoran Group. And I remembered that if I was ever to go elsewhere, he was coming with me. And he had a few stints between Corcoran and Elliman, and he was available. So he has put together a team of over 10 people across all of our regions. And we use a third-party company called Meltwater to, they give you an assessment of your reach and all of the press hits you've gotten. And no one can even get close to us right now in terms of the number of press hits we get. So every day there's the Elliman Daily, which comes out at 6 p.m. and it goes to everyone in the company, and it is a daily of the day's previous press hits. And it's always full. I mean, I've never seen a company get so much press. And it's important to know that when you've got to reach out to the agents and get them to talk about what they're doing, whether it's their personal life or their listings, or they just did a great sale, or perhaps they are working with a celebrity. So there are a lot of ways to get press. And reporters today, they're all freelance. The old days of being a Times reporter, unless you're Maggie Haberman. So we help shape the stories as well.
And that's great for the agents because that is brand recognition and support of your company's brand as well as agents' brand.
Sure.
Because the newsletters are talking about certain agents and their success stories and their achievements.
Yeah, it's interesting. I interviewed an agent at a competitor a few weeks ago, and he's in the top 10 of their company, and it's a large company. And I said, I've never heard of you before. I was very honest.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't have an in-house press department. They don't have public relations. It's not there. It doesn't exist. So it's super important. And if you want, as an agent, your brand or your team to move up quickly, the more PR you can get, and obviously once you get that, you share it on all of your social channels, you can almost do that overnight in many ways. So for us, it's important. And for the most part, it's free. You earn this. You go out there and you get it. And so we're super proud of that.
I'm aware of one of your agents in Bayside office. She has her own podcast. And your PR department helped her push that podcast. And now she has this successful series. That was thanks to your PR department.
Oh,
and you
great.
helped the team. She has a team. And you helped the team grow. And it wasn't a big article about them. Just whatever your PR department did, it just really brought her business to another level.
Well, it's interesting. We have a podcast studio in here. You should see it before you leave.
Oh, I will.
It's called Elliman on Air, and it's a professional studio. We outfitted it, and I think we probably have about 15 podcasts now. Yeah, I'm guesting on Steve Cohen's podcast this coming Thursday, and he'll tape it from there. So
Well,
yeah, it's super important. You can't just rest on your laurels anymore. You have to have things that will reach out to people in different ways. And
Yeah. Talking about changing markets and opportunities, that is new opportunity that came with COVID. Podcasts really became so important and popular during COVID, and now it continues.
so true. My favorite podcast was Sourdough Bread, and I gained 30 pounds during COVID.
Well, you look fabulous now.
I took it off, but yeah, podcasts are pretty powerful.
Pretty powerful indeed, yeah. And I appreciate your public relations department and Stephen Larkin because he made it happen.
Yes, he always does.
Well, let's talk about your investment in the community and the charity organizations that you support. Not you personally, but the company, and you personally, if you would like to talk about that. And I know that on local level, you have different directions. Like in Florida, you have something else besides Long Island.
Right. So I was very lucky when I came to Douglas Elliman that I was asked to be on the board of God's Love We Deliver. And Douglas Elliman has been supporting God's Love over 10 years now. And we do many events throughout the year. And one coming up on October 1st is the Ride for Love. And it's a wonderful bike ride that's in the Hamptons on a beautiful fall day. And we raise money. God's Love is an organization that prepares medically tailored meals to people that have terminal illnesses, and also to their entire family. So we put out about 12,000 meals a day.
Wow.
And almost 3.5 million meals a year for the metropolitan New York, the 5 boroughs, and into Westchester now. And so that's just one thing we do as a company in New York. But in Long Island, in the Hamptons, in LA, and Houston, we have a day that Douglas Elliman gives back. And while we'll be doing the Ride for Love in the Hamptons, our other people, for instance, in Los Angeles, will be working with Project Angel Food, which is a similar organization, which is now a buddy system for God's Love. And we do other things at a local level, which are super important. So we always need to give back. You can't just take from a community, and you have to help, be part of it and shape what's happening in the community in a way that that is heartfelt, and it's important that people are benefiting from your involvement.
And I understand even with your teams, again, I talk about Long Island because I invested a lot of my energy in Long Island. And over there, even the teams, they have their own charities that they support.
Oh.
And like in different festivals, they will have a booth, and they will raise funds for a charity organization of their choice, which is also important. So they give back to the community right there at next to the office, you know?
Yes. I would say almost every agent has a charity. So they're out there as well, giving in their own local neighborhood, which is important because that's where, that's charity begins at home.
Charity begins at home. So Douglas Elliman is a globally established company, not just in the United States. You have partnerships outside of our country. So let's talk about that and how your agents benefit from your relationships.
About 9 years ago, we forged a partnership with Knight Frank, which handles all of our business outside of the United States.
Mm-hmm.
With the exception of South America and some Canadian companies. So we have an exclusive relationship with them, and they have an exclusive relationship with us. Anything we send outside of the country goes to them,
Mm-hmm.
and they have 28,000 agents and 1,500 offices around the world. Goes to Knight Frank. Anything that comes to the United States goes to us first. So it's a true relationship. We have a conference every year,
Mm-hmm.
either here or there. We are in constant contact. Behind this wall is our America's desk, hosted by Hugh Dixon, which is a desk for Knight Frank themselves to have their clients come in here to seek real estate. And so he's moved here from London. And he's a permanent. So we are constantly, the biggest question we get when we're presenting a listing presentation is the seller wondering, how do we reach the international market? Well, we all know that you'll reach it online, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's Google, Instagram, real estate sites, Elliman.com. But also we really have a true relationship, which is contractual, and we deliver to our agents as well as the Knight Frank agents. So we're really super proud of that. And they are probably, as we say, we're the best in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
They're the best outside of the US.
And it's also helpful to have that consistency for your clients. If someone wants to have a condo here in New York City and in London or Paris, and they use your relationship and your network, it's a consistent approach. You know that you can trust by sending your client to Europe because the agent will treat them with the same love and attention.
Yes, and what's really interesting, real estate transactions differ in Great Britain, Italy, France,
Mm-hmm.
Germany, Portugal. So they all have different nuances, and Knight Frank has all of that covered because they have boots on the ground all over the world. So it really benefits us, and we're not sort of flying blindly there. We hand it right off to them, and they're handled as an important client. Trust
is important.
Yes.
And that's the foundation of your relationship.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're
Thank you.
welcome.
And thank you for your time today. Thank you,
Thank
Scott.
you.
All the best to you and your agents and your leadership team.
Thank you. Thank you all. Okay.
All right. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the button below to subscribe to my YouTube channel and enjoy all the videos with leaders in real estate industry. Have a great day. Cheers.